You find out by accident. A phone screen glanced at during lunch. A salary notification your colleague didn't hide fast enough. One number that you were never supposed to see. Their salary is double yours. Same job title, same team, same years at the company, same performance reviews calling both of you exceptional. Double. You finish lunch. You smile. You say nothing. And then you spend the rest of the afternoon unable to think about anything else, because now you know something you cannot unknow, and everything about your relationship with this job just changed. The drive home is the longest drive you have taken in years, not in distance, in the quality of silence inside the car. Your mind keeps running the same calculation. Their salary, your salary, the gap, the years you have been working here, the raises you received that felt generous at the time and now look like fractions of a problem you never knew existed. By the time you get home, you have done the math enough times to be certain. You are not underpaid by a little. You are underpaid by a significant and compounding amount that has been building since the day you accepted your first offer without asking for more. That night, you research. Job boards, industry salary surveys, LinkedIn data, recruiter postings, every source you can find. And every source says the same thing. The market rate for your role, your experience, and your results is substantially above what you are currently earning. Your colleague is not being overpaid. You are being underpaid. Those are different situations with different solutions. You make two lists. The first list is everything you have delivered at this company. Projects completed, clients brought in, problems solved that nobody else saw coming, revenue influenced, costs reduced. Every result that belongs to you even if the credit was shared. By the time you finish the list, it is midnight and the list is longer than you expected. The second list is everything you need to do next. The situation is fixable. It is uncomfortable to fix. But the discomfort of a single conversation lasts 30 minutes. The financial cost of avoiding that conversation lasts the entire rest of your career at this company. The math on that is very simple, even at midnight with your emotions running. Before you talk to your manager, you do one more thing. You apply for 2 positions at competitor companies. Not because you are certain you want to leave, because you need to know what the market will actually offer you in real time, not in theory. An external offer transforms a request into a negotiation. It shows that the market has validated your assessment of your own value, and it removes the company's ability to tell you that your expectations are unrealistic when a competing company has already met those expectations in writing. The response from the first competitor comes back within 48 hours. They want to interview you. Within 2 weeks, they make an offer. It is 30% above your current salary. The document in your hand is not a threat. It is data. And data is what good negotiations run on. You request a meeting with your manager. Subject line, career discussion. Professional, neutral, no indication of what is coming. They agree immediately. You prepare your materials, market rate data for your role in this industry, your accomplishment list organized by impact and revenue, the specific number you are asking for, and the external offer kept in your bag as a last resort, not a first move. The conversation begins the way all salary conversations begin, with your manager expressing how valued you are and how much the team depends on you. You thank them and move directly to the data. You explain what the market pays for your role. You walk through your contributions. You state the number you are looking for. You stop talking and you wait. The silence is uncomfortable. You let it be uncomfortable. This is the moment most people undercut themselves, filling the silence with apologies or reductions or qualifications that weaken the ask. You say nothing. Your manager says they need to consult with HR. You nod and give them a specific date by which you need an answer. 2 weeks later, they come back with a revised offer. It is not everything you asked for. It is significantly more than where you started. You show them the external offer. The number moves again. You accept, not because it is perfect, but because it represents real progress from a position of demonstrated market value, and because you now know exactly what to do if it needs to move again in 12 months. Here is why the gap existed. It was not because your colleague was better at the job. It was because on the day they received their original offer, they pushed back. They asked for more. The hiring manager, as hiring managers almost always do when someone they want asks professionally for more, found the budget to give it. That single conversation, lasting perhaps 15 minutes, created a salary advantage that compounded through every raise and every percentage increase in the years that followed. They didn't do anything wrong. They just did something you didn't do. And the system rewarded it automatically and indefinitely. Companies almost never volunteer pay increases above the minimum they think they can retain you for. This is not malice. It is institutional budget management. The money for higher salaries almost always exists. It is simply allocated to people who ask for it clearly and with evidence. The people who don't ask are not penalized for silence. They are simply given less and expected not to notice or not to act on what they notice. The gap between your salary and your colleagues is not exceptional. Research consistently shows that significant pay variance exists within the same role at the same company, and that the primary predictor of where someone lands in that variance is whether they negotiated their initial offer. Not their performance reviews, not their years of experience, whether they negotiated. That is the uncomfortable truth that the salary conversation you finally had was built on. And the truth that comes after it is simpler. The conversation you were afraid to have was the most financially productive 30 minutes of your career. The discomfort was real. The fear of how it would be received was real. The outcome made both of those things irrelevant. Know your market rate. Check it every year. When the number is wrong, say so with data and professionalism, and then wait in the silence until you get an answer. It is lunch. Same table, same colleague, same office building, the same city, the same ordinary Wednesday that all the other ordinary Wednesdays have been. The food is the same. The conversation is the same. The only thing that is different is the number in your bank account at the end of the month and the way you sit at the table knowing exactly what your work is worth to the market and to this company and to yourself. You are not angry at your colleague. They negotiated. You didn't. That was the whole story. The company gave what was asked for and no more. The solution was always to ask. You just didn't know to ask until you accidentally saw something on a phone screen during lunch on a Tuesday that you were never meant to see. There are people in every office, in every company, in every industry, who are sitting right now at the same desk as someone earning significantly more for the same work. Most of them will never know. The ones who do know but do nothing will keep losing the difference month by month until the gap is so large that closing it requires leaving entirely. The ones who find out and act are the ones who close the gap while staying, build the skill of knowing their value, and carry that skill into every room they enter for the rest of their career. You found out by accident. What you did next was not an accident, it was a decision. The most financially important decision you made all year. It happened in a 30-minute meeting with a prepared document and a willingness to sit in silence until the right answer arrived. Do you know what your market rate is right now? Not what you were paid when you started. Not what your last raise brought you to. What the market would pay you today, for what you can do, for what you have built, for who you have become at this job. If the answer is no, that is where you start. Tonight.